What's going on, guys? It's Metsu here, and here with me today I have Rocket Wilson. Go ahead and say what's up, man.
What's going on, people?
So we actually came across the Let It Die dev stream for February 2nd, and right now, from when we're recording this, it was 5 hours ago. Not that that really matters, but inevitably they live streamed this in Japan's time, February 2nd. Now, without further ado, before actually getting heavy into this, I want to give a shout out to Sonic Nutter 91 for actually joining the community in Let It Die Metsu on PlayStation 4. If you guys are interested, you guys could join that as well. We're all friendly there, and even if you don't play Let It Die anymore, you can you can just join to make friends and just chat about anything really. I'm thinking about also doing this for Neo, but I'm getting off track. Giving this man a shout out because in the community, he said, yo, everyone, the devs just streamed about 2 hours ago, and in a nutshell, they did the naked challenge and also spewed out a lot of information. So I was like, thank you, I'll go ahead and check it out, thus resulting in Rock and I teaming up to basically cover this new information. So again, thank you. Really? Thank you. Is that a new language? Is that like, what is that like, Gravity Rush?
Not thinking that.
Well, whatever the heck they whatever language
Not to make
sounds
I'm not
fluent,
making.
though.
Yeah,
I actually like it. Cat sounds really cute. Like, I want to learn that language, whatever it is. Anyway, back to Let It Die. I'm going to be talking about things that they talked about, and then Rock will be giving his impression, and I'll be giving my brief impressions on it as well. So the first thing they talked about was new areas. Oh yeah, I said that we're going to talk about it afterwards. Alright, so the first thing they talked about was new areas. The second thing they talked about was the new series of enemies, specifically the 4 horsemen. And then the next up was the new equipment, being the fireball baton, the apocalyptic hockey armor, and that's about it. And then following up with that, they said that there were going to be 2 new events, being the Tower of Barb structure change event and another Tokyo Death Metro event. So within these 4 things and semi additional things within 3 and 4, Rock, you got the floor to go ahead and give your brief. What is this language that I'm speaking? Okay, your brief feedback on these things, man.
all right. So, first things first, the new areas. Just by them using the word areas, I don't know if it's a language thing or not, but to me, saying new areas is kind of vague. And like, what's meant by that? Are we talking about getting more floors, as in, new areas, or are we talking about more side rooms to the floors that we already have? So areas is pretty vague, and they didn't really go in depth with that, or at least give us a tidbit of information about what's meant by that. As for the horsemen, I think the idea is pretty cool, but the whole thing, once again, not very much information. Are they enemies that appear after killing the jackals, like maybe like a second tier jackal kind of thing? Will they be mid bosses or main floor bosses on these new floors? What are they? How are they going to implement them into the game? As opposed to the new weapons, I'm pretty pumped about the new weapons. The new tiers of weapons, actually, I think that adds more flexibility, or it might add more flexibility. So, you're not really cheesing, the pork chopper or the Masamune or anything. You can actually level up other weapons to use and fight boss fights. So I think that's actually pretty cool. And as for the new weapons they announced, don't really have an opinion on them. They're nice, but I don't really think more weapon variety is what's needed. I think pretty much just, I guess, tailoring to the player's playstyle is more of what's needed with the weapons. But that's besides the point. And for the new armor, I'm not really amused by it. It's cool to see new styles and stuff, but I've never really been one for armor. I haven't found it a huge game changer in Let It Die, not yet. There's an obvious difference between using, a weaker level armor as opposed to a higher level armor. But once you get to those higher level armors, even the little number changes in them, I just don't see the difference in them. So it really doesn't affect me any. And especially with the different mushrooms anyway. Like, what does it matter what kind of armor you're wearing if you're just going to use guard shrooms? That's my whole thing.
All right, so now for my brief impressions on it. With the new areas, what I was thinking about was that I hope that the quote-unquote areas are actually new areas. You guys maybe like Metsu, use English, please. To emphasize on this, I'm thinking about, say if you're in floors 1 to 10. The new areas for that, it wouldn't be just running within these same things that we've already seen, just running it backwards or something. It's a completely new design that we have not seen. Or, you know, maybe for the carnival, maybe we see a roller coaster instead of a Ferris wheel or something else. Basically just expanding the design methods, you know? But they've in the past said that they were going to add more floors. So I think that the areas is not adding more floors, it's just adding more things horizontally to the floors that we already currently have. So I'm just hoping that we see a new design, because really going throughout the game you see the same exact thing over and over again, and inevitably you're really just traveling the tower, going through different starting points of each area. Granted, being maybe 1 or 2, perhaps 3 level designs. But then it really boils down to, like I said, starting at different points of each one of those maps. And it's not a big diversity. The new series of enemies, the Four Horsemen. Rock and I were geeking out about this, saying that basically combining our ideas. My idea was that they should have their own floors. So you guys know how the shops have their own floor. I think that these guys should have their own floor, and instead of being more or less enemies, they should be friendly, kind of like mentors. You go to them and, you know, they're dissing you. They're like, yo, we're the Four Horsemen, but yada yada yada. You're just a fighter, so if you think you can take me on, then let's do it. If you fail, then that's basically your life. And the idea behind this that him and I combine were that with each horseman, you have to defeat them 4 times. If you defeat them 4 times, then you get basically their armor and whatnot. And then if you defeat them the 5th time, then you get a special key. So I'm guessing that each time that you beat them, then you have a chance to get their armor, and the 4th time I guess get their weapon, and then the 5th time you get a horseman key. So after you defeat each horseman 5 times, then you get all 4 horseman keys, which unlocks a new complete different area that we've actually seen before. If you've beaten the game, then you guys know, like, that grassy plain or whatever that Uncle Death took you to and killed that giant monster. I'm thinking that it would be really cool if we fought that giant monster and they added some new type of gameplay to where by defeating each horseman you gain each of their weapons. So for the right limb you may have to use the first horseman's weapon, the left limb you may have to use the second horseman's weapon, etc, etc, and then for his head you could use any weapon. I think that I highly doubt that Gung Ho would do this, but you know, just trying to add diversity to the game and make it a lot more interesting, I think that would be extremely cool, rather than just as Rock said that, you know, will they be basically a second tier jackal where you kill the jackals and then they come out? I don't know. As for the fireball baton, I really think that the weapons should have a lot more flashy moveless. I was really excited for the Masamune, but really disappointed that it's really just an up slash and a side slash, and that's it. I was expecting to do some really cool stuff, but it's not that cool. It's really just a power weapon. So with the fireball baton, I'm hoping that you have some twirling animations to where if you press it once, then you actually get like 3 hits out of it. I think that would be really freaking cool. The apocalyptic armor, I'm thinking that with them taking this step in direction, I'm thinking that each weapon set, or specific weapon sets I should say, is that they're going to have their own type of armor. So we already have the apocalyptic hockey stick, but we don't really have armor to represent that. Now we have the apocalyptic hockey armor. The guns, we already have, you know, soldier type armor. So I'm thinking that for specific weapons, we're going to have different armor types. As for the events, we didn't really talk about those. He didn't talk about it, but we do have the Tower of Barb structure change event. Rock has said that this has been a previous event, so it's not really special. It just, again, goes through what we deal with daily. It just changes the rooms, basically. And Tokyo Death Row. Oh my gosh. Gravity Rush English. Gravity Rush English, please. Please. What? I can't English right now. Oh my god. Rock, help me, please.
Oh my god.
But like I was saying, Tokyo Death Metro is Tokyo Death Metro, and nothing to really emphasize about. But yeah, these were our thoughts on the dev stream and everything that they covered. I hope you guys enjoy the pictures that I showed. And also, to give you guys a little side note, it's funny how much I talk about Let It Die, because Let It Die has really impacted me a lot. It has a huge impact on my life. You know, again, you guys may be getting sick and tired of me talking about the game, but honestly, I can't squash it like it's something little when it's giving me all the support that I have from like you guys. So I play it from time to time, just tries to get back into it, but I personally find it more interesting to talk about the game and cover the information that the devs give rather than now making guides, just because I think that the game really boils down to preparing to cheese everything. You know, 1 to 10, it was a survival, oh snap, my weapon broke, let me pick up this one and keep on fighting my way through the tower, to, okay, now things are getting more difficult. Oh snap, there's an invisible mushroom, let me just stock up on these to be invisible throughout the whole entire game. And this was a discussion that Rock and I were saying, was that the game really just boils down to how prepared you are. You honestly don't need any armor throughout the game. If you just want to farm invisible shrooms, you're straight. That's really all you need throughout the game. I mean, sure, attack buffs are good as well, but really, at a certain point, the game no longer becomes a challenge. And, well, I take that back. The game no longer becomes, I can't find the words, but the challenge reverts from survival to finding the right mushrooms you need to cheese everything. So I think that this game just boils down to mushrooms, and that's it. And I don't really like that, because then you're playing for mushrooms rather than playing for the skill. I don't know. What's your thoughts, or anything that you can elaborate on this, Rock?
Nah, I really do. I agree with everything you're saying. Yeah, if anybody does know me or ever been around, I did complete the game, and yeah, I definitely had my slip ups and stuff during the game, but the final boss kind of showed a lot about how much you can cheese the mushrooms. I mean, I went in there and pretty much finished the boss in like 2 or 3 minutes. I didn't even get to hear the whole song, and so, or even a good chunk of the song. But yeah, nah, it definitely went from survival, which was great in the beginning. You know, like you said, picking up weapons, picking up armor, blah blah blah, to finding the right mushrooms. And I mean, that's great, but I'd at least hope that they'd updated, maybe, I guess, nerf those mushrooms. Yes, that would make it a bit better. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't emphasize enough that, you know, Rock and I have agreed that, you know, talking about news on the game and thinking of new ideas that could be possibly implemented in the game is a little bit more intriguing than playing the game, because it really goes down from the concept of Let It Die from 1 to 10. The concept that they were going for really worked in 1 to 10, and then they just turned it into farming mushrooms. And the only real challenge is surviving to get those mushrooms. So, going back to the 4 Horsemen, Rock and I really hope that they implement some type of skill-based combat within the 4 Horsemen, and not making them like the Jackals. If you think about it, the Jackals are really BS, and the only way to kill them is to cheese them. You can't really fight them straight up because they don't flinch. You flinch, but they don't. So you can attack them all you want straight up, and you're going to get wrecked because, again, they don't flinch, which is bullcrap. So Rock and I were saying that for the 4 horsemen, it would be amazing if what they did were, you know, when you step in, each horseman has a different requirement to beat them. So the first horseman, he basically wipes all of your mushrooms, and you can only use healing mushrooms. The second horseman, he mimics you, basically like the transistor boss. The transistor boss could use everything that you use. So if you bring in poisonous mushrooms within the second horseman, he's like, oh, alright, you dealing with poison? I'll fight you with poison. Oh, you dealing with electric? I'll fight you with electric. So then this enables the player to say, okay, I don't want to bring these things inside of here because I know that he'll be able to gain better abilities. I can just throw stuff, but then he can actually use it to his higher ups. The third one being perhaps him saying, you know, fight like a man. And we talked about like a little Easter egg. Say if he dropped both of his weapons and then squared up with his fists in a cutscene, you can fight him with your fists, but the moment you try to run to grab his weapons, then he pulls out even stronger weapons and basically taunts you saying, okay, I see you can't fight like a man. I think that these things would be really, really cool, and they have signature moves to where you could dodge and actually punish. If they added more skill-based things within this game, I think they would be a lot better. And for the Force Horsemen, I don't know. They could add anything. But yeah, I think that this game really needs some changes. And the devs are showing that there is a lot of stuff coming to Let It Die, granted. But is it the right stuff is the real question. So you got any final thoughts on anything that I talked about or anything that you want to mention, Rock, before we put this in a bud?
Not really. I mean, once again, I do agree. They are taking steps to improve the game. I really enjoy the fact that they fixed the climb quest. I've actually been doing a lot of those, of course, off camera, and I really enjoy it. I've been stacking up death medals like crazy because of it. And it's little things like that that definitely helps the game. Could they do a bit better with the updates that they're announcing? Sure. But I mean, baby steps. I don't know. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and this is the last thing I'm going to talk about. With that update that you just talked about, is that yeah, I think that to emphasize even more on that, what they should do is that they should add daily quests to where you can get a death medal each day as long as you complete that daily quest. I think that would be really freaking cool because now that they fixed it, I mean, why not? Not everybody can buy death medals, and there's really no way to get any more death medals after you completed all the quests. So I think that they should release daily quests or refresh old ones. That way you can get even more death medals every single day, and you can rack up as needed. But anyway, that's really everything that we wanted to talk about. This video was a bit longer than I intended it to, but we did cover a lot of things. If you guys have any ideas or any thoughts, I guess that's the same thing, isn't it? Ideas and thoughts. RJ, where is your English? Where is your mind today? Where is it? Metsu. Oh, that's probably why, because I'm talking as Metsu RJ and not Mr. Jenkins. Anyway, I just lost my train of thought. If you guys have any thoughts about this whole entire thing, then comment in the comment section below. Rock and I will be looking at those comments and basically discussing it amongst ourselves, saying, you know, if we agree with it, if we don't agree with it. But either who, I like reading everyone's comments. It's interesting to see what you guys think about the game. This is Metsu RJ.
It's Rocket Wilson.
And we will both catch you guys in another video next time we collaborate. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we are out. Peace.